Myself, Dr. Dhrampal Singh, Associate Professor of Jazz College of Engineering, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Your paper name is the Formal Language and Automata Theory, and paper code is CS403. So this is the prerequisites of your course: digital logic, computer organization, and computer fundamentals. Already I have discussed how they are useful, and this one is the course outcomes. We have to learn when I complete this course. After the completion of the course, you are able to do the following 5 tasks, and these are the mapping with the course with your course outcomes. Sorry, program outcomes. Now these are the course content. Now we are in the module 1. So today topic is the Mealy machine and the Moore machine. So before that, we are aware about the automata which take the input, go to the next state. So what is the problem of the Mealy machine and Moore machine? Problem of Mealy machine and Moore machine is nothing. These are the benefit. They are providing benefit to us. Actually, problem exists in a finite state machine. In finite state machine, what we have observed that it gives the only binary answer. When suppose if you remember how your automata accept the string. If you remember the first lecture, then I mentioned that the starting from the initial state, after consuming the series of input, if I reach to the some state like this one, and if this is the final state, I can say it is acceptable. If we are after consuming the string, if we are not able to reach to the final state, so it is not acceptable. So your finite state machine give answer only in form of binary. If it give answer only yes or no. If it is acceptable, it will be say yes. If it is not acceptable, it will be say no. So only binary answer. So for every input, what will be the output we want to know? This type of facility is not exist. This type of facility is not present there. So how can solve it? How can solve it? So we require the machine, just like the Mealy machine and Moore machine. This is also automata, but this automata have the outputs. You can see. Output can be chosen from the some other alphabet there. Means here it will give the output for your every alphabet there. So this is the 2 type. So here what I can say that this is the automata that produce the output with the every input. But earlier case of a finite automata like deterministic and non-deterministic, what we have seen that in DFA or NDFA, they are giving only binary answer. So sometimes we require for every input what will be the output there. If I ask the question, immediately I require the answer. Or if I ask the question at the end of 5 questions, you are saying the answer. So this type of things are depends on situation or situation there. Okay. So this machine, Mealy machine and Moore machine produce the output for the every input. So this is known as the automata with the output. Okay. So these are the 2 types. One is known as the Mealy machine and one is known as the Moore machine. So if you read the definition, the value of the output function is mainly depends on the present state and present input. So in case of Mealy machine, keep in mind everyone, sometime during the interview they ask the question, what is the difference between Mealy machine and Moore machine? So we can say that in Mealy machine, output function depends on present state, present input, present state and present input. But in case of Moore machine, output depends only on the present state. So this type of things we have to remember that. Mealy machine and Moore machine main difference is that Mealy machine give the output based on present state, just like this, present state and present input. And the Moore machine give the output based on the your only in the present, in the your present state, and it is independent of the current. Okay. So, and this is the formal definition of the Mealy machine and Moore machine. Mealy machine is a combination of 6 tuples there. As we already know that automata is combination of 5 tuples there. Mealy machine is a combination of 6 tuples. What are the combination? Sorry, what are the tuples are there? You can see this is the same as the your automata. Finite set of states, input will be already available, because here we say that this machine produce the output. So it also have the your delta type. This is known as the your output there. Transition function is the same as earlier one. Input, present state, go to the next state, just like the finite automata. But this is known as output function. If you remember this figure, they have written output function. Output function depends on present state, present input. Output function of this one depends only present state. So if I say this is the definition of Moore machine, so what I can say that present state only depends on the output only depends on the present state there. That is, it is written that the output function mapping present state to the output function there. You should remember definition of Moore machine here. It depends only on present state independent of the current state. So this is the Moore machine. Okay. The Moore machine in this case I can say that here output function depends from present state to the output. And Q0 is the your initial state. Okay, so here we are not going for any final state as it is present in finite state machine. Finite state machine, our logic is that starting from initial state, go to the final state after consuming all the string, then I can say that the string is acceptable. Otherwise, string is not acceptable. So only difference between Mealy machine and Moore machine, we know that Mealy machine depends on present state and present input. But Moore machine depends only on the present state. So here, only difference between Mealy machine and Moore machine, the transition of the your output function, this one. Here it depends on input, present state, and then produce the output. Here it depends only the present state, not the present input. So this is the two definition of the your Mealy machine and Moore machine, and only one difference is that output of the Mealy machine depends on present state, present input, then it will produce the output. But in case of Moore machine, output depends only on the present state. So now tell me, what is the type of this machine? Tell me. Guess it, think about it. What will be the type of this machine will be? What type is possible here? Okay, so here you can see this is the your present state, taking the input. We are producing the state Q3 and output is the your 0 there. So here what I can say that for input 0 there is output. For input 1 there is output. So for every input we are getting the output. You can see here. Every input we are getting the output. Also the here present state is available there. Present state, input, output. So what type of machine is it is? So I can say that it is the your Mealy machine. Because in Mealy machine for every input there will be the output. Because I already mentioned that Mealy machine output depends on present states and the present input. Okay, so for the every input we have to write down the output. So that type of machine is known as the your Mealy machine. So now in your semester they ask the question, convert the Mealy machine into the Moore machine. They give the question. So they will give this type of question to you and ask you to go for the conversion of the Mealy machine to a Moore machine. Or you can say derive the Moore machine from the given Mealy machine. In this way they can ask. So how we can convert this one? So you have to see that here. The things are given there. Okay, sorry. So you can see the things here. Here we have to see that in this part, what are the different output associated with the states. So starting from Q3, output is 0, Q3 output 0. So okay, no problem. Starting from Q1, output is the 1 here, and here Q1, yes, out. Q2, output is 1, but here I can say Q2 output is 0. Similarly, Q4 output is 1, but Q4 output is 0. So when I can get the different output, suppose I am from which state I am getting different output. From Q2, also for Q4 I am getting the different output. You can see Q2 is the 1 and Q2 is the 0. So if this type of things are there, so our task is that we have to divide the so we are getting the output in different manner of the Q2 and Q4 there. Okay. So different output is associated. According to output, we can divide this step like Q2 0 and Q2. So maybe two outputs are associated like 0 and 1. So I can write Q4 0 and the Q4 1. In this way, we have to write. After writing this step, we have to divide in this way. You can see in this figure. So first step after this one, we have to check this column. Whatever the different output is associated, we can divide according to that and write in this part. After writing, how we can write this state? It's very easy. Now we can go for the Q1. What is the state? Q3 0. D10. Q3 0. Now Q1 1. Here the output of this divided in two parts, 0 and 1. So here very easy to recognize what I can write. I can write this one or this one because Q2 we have divided into two parts. So very easy to know that here output associated is 0. So I can take the Q2 0 here. You can see. So Q2 0 here Q2 divided in two parts. So it is already written here. You can see these two parts. After that, what is the value of this one for the 0 Q1 and Q1 we have not divided. So it will be the right in two times Q1 and output is 1 1 because output of this part is the 1. Similarly 4, again in dilemma which value I can choose 0 or 1. So I already mentioned what is the output associated with 4 with 0. So Q4 0 will be the part there. You can see Q4 0 will be the part. Similarly for the Q3, you can see the Q2. So what output associated 1? So I can write here Q2 1. And Q1 not divided to as it is. Similarly for Q4, here, sorry, 1 is associated. So Q4 0 4 1, I can write 4 1 4 1. You can see 4 1 4 1. Q3 not divided, it is as. So after that, this one, we have to convert this one into form of this part. Because Mealy machine structure is this way. It output is only depends on the present state. It is independent of the input. But sorry, Moore machine output depends only from the present state, the independent of the input. Now you can see here how you can combine these two. Here two outputs are there, na? How can combine these two output with a single one? Because here we have to bring this single output. It is very easy to do it. How you can do it, you can see. Again, you have to consider this column. Consider this column there. Okay. So first we have to write this one as it is. This one as it is with the input A equal to 0. See that. And this one as it is with input as A equal to 0. Now problem in this part. So here problem is that we have to write this one as the single input there. Okay. So it is very simple. So for what I am writing Q1, for Q1 I am writing the output here. So we have to see that what is the output of Q1 in this part. Here I can see 1, 1, 1. So I can write 1 here. Similarly, Q20, what is the output of Q20 in this part? You can see the Q20 output is what? Only this place it happened 0. So I can write the 0. Now we are thinking about Q21. So what is the output of Q21 in this diagram? Q21, this is the 1, plus Q21, no. So 1 I can write. Only Q3, what is the output of Q3 in this part? Only this part we have to consider. Q3, Q3, 0, Q3, 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 all are 0. So 0 we have written. So in this way, we have to write down the output. Again, just I'm giving the glimpse. But this type of machine will be given there. The first step is that we have to see that what are the different output associated with the state and divide the state in this way. After that, write the state in this way and corresponding value. Just I mentioned if it is the 0, Q2 output 0, so I can write Q2. If it is 4 and output associated 0, the Q4. Like that we have to write. After that, when you go for all the state, we have to write in this way for this column, for this input, this input. When I go for the output, you have to say that Q1, I have to write the output. So where the Q1, what is the output of Q1 in this figure? I can see output of Q1 is 1. So in this way we have to write. But problem in this machine is that from the initial state, without taking the input, it can produce the output is 1. So that is the reason we have to introduce one more state here, like 0 state. Same change, same state will be there. You can see as it is here Q3, Q20. Here we have to write Q3, sorry, Q3, 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 Q20, 0. Why? Because here if you go in this way, so without from the initial state, without taking any input, it produces the output there. So this will create the problem. Without giving any input, we are getting the product. So that is the reason we have to introduce one more step, make executable. So I hope that this is the clear your doubt and the student get the idea about the knowledge. So I'm stopping it.